Okay, so next I have Virginia. The number I have is 7.5. I was wondering if you had the same number.
That's what I got. Yeah, seven
Okay,
and a half.
so Virginia, Brennan Armstrong is the big name there at quarterback, and I guess I should mention as well. Obviously, Tony Elliott is the new head coach there. Um, uh, who's the guy? The last coach. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting his name right now.
Bronco Mendenhall. Yeah.
Bronco Mendenhall, who I liked a little bit the last couple of years, stepped down. I'm not really sure why. Not sure what's going on there, but they bring over Tony Elliott from Clemson. Um, Virginia has been like solid the last several years. They went 6-6 a year ago, 4-4 in conference. Um, Kind of your perfectly average, competent ACC team. Like,
Yeah.
is that is that about as much praise as we can give a Virginia team?
They're kind of like a poor man's Kentucky a little bit.
Sure,
Like kind of before Kentucky got like to where they are now, to where they're going like 9-3,
sure.
like they were always like 7-5, 6-6, usually going to bowl games. And like Virginia feels like just kind of like the poor man's version of that.
Yeah. No, if you look at their schedule, it's fairly manageable.
Oh yeah.
Their first six opponents, there's a chance they could be favored against all six. We'll have to see about Louisville. They go to Illinois, so who knows what Illinois looks like this year. But you have to think the Virginia team we've gotten accustomed to would be favored in that game.
Yeah.
The last six you get Miami, North Carolina, Pitt, and at Virginia Tech, of course, to end the year.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They could lose all four of those and win the rest and go way over. Or no, I guess that would be just over. I guess the reason it's as high as 7.5 has to be the schedule, right?
Yeah, no, I agree. You look at their first six games, like you talked about, they should be
Ooh,
at least 5-1.
I'm sorry, I overlooked Coastal Carolina. I didn't even notice that. But yeah,
Yeah,
they also have Coastal Carolina.
that's a sneaky. Their back 4 or 5 games is loaded,
Yeah.
and so like that's where you run into trouble, is when you have tough opponent after tough opponent, just week after week after week,
Mm-hmm.
and like you start to, yeah, like you kind of get down and you don't have enough recovery time. Like you
Yeah.
get beat up so much one week, you don't have enough recovery time for the next. So like that's what scares me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm taking the under here on Virginia. First year head coach. I like Brendan Armstrong at quarterback. I really do. He's going to throw for a lot of yards. He really will. He's going to have
Yeah.
some success early on, but that last little stretch there where they go and they play Miami, North Carolina, Pitt, Coastal, and then Virginia Tech.
That's
That's
tough.
that's a really, really tough stretch.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, I think they drop one of their early games as well. I don't think they start out 6-0, even though they like theoretically could.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think they end up dropping a couple of games. I think 7-5 probably likely.
Sure.
6-6 might be even more likely.
Mm-hmm.
So I would be taking the under on Virginia.
And honestly, if you're Virginia and you have Tony Elliott in his first season, I think you'd have to be thrilled with the 6-6 season in his first year. Um, Looking at the team a little closer, they lost their top six offensive linemen, and we know it's Virginia. Like they don't recruit at the same level as a Clemson or somebody like that, even a Pitt or Miami.
Sure.
So I have to imagine that Brennan Armstrong's numbers will probably drop a bit. They have really good receivers. Like the receiving core is very, very good. So to me, basically this comes down to Armstrong and the receivers. Can they just outscore everyone else based on their incredible passing game and basically nothing else? Because their defense was bad a year ago. They lost most of their bad defense. Like, is that a positive or a negative? Well, it's all bad, really. So yeah, I'm going to join you on the under. I would have given some thought to the over if I hadn't, yeah, before I noticed that Coastal Carolina was that other game. They literally could start 7-0 and not hit the over on this number.
Yeah, I know. Imagine how crazy that would be. You start out 7-0 and you finish 7-5. Like just like what the offseason looks like. But hey, 7-5, by the way, for a first year head coach at Virginia is successful.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I mean, you're gonna
6-6 would be successful.
correct. You're gonna start out with a good record regardless. Like You really are. Like you're going to start out with a really good, because that first part of their schedule, man, is so freaking easy. So yeah, I think we're in agreement there that we're going to take the under, but it still should be a successful year for Virginia, just because Vegas maybe doesn't quite agree with the over under. I still think this will be a good year for Virginia. You're just not going to get to 8 wins, which is where you'd have to get.
And they could be a fun team to watch. Like anytime you have a team like that that's not really competing for a national title or anything, but they just have like a huge passing game, puts up huge numbers. Like that's a fun team, if nothing
like
else.
Texas Tech back in the day, or
Yeah, exactly.
pretty much any Mike Leach team of all time. So
yeah,
yeah.